The Koh-i-Noor was called lucky, and it ruined the men holding it because every ruler saw the same promise in one hard white stone. If you owned it, people assumed heaven had endorsed your rule, so southern treasuries guarded gems the way forts guarded city gates. That is the first trick. Diamonds travel better than kingdoms, and a court that loses one can look cursed by breakfast. The Mughals understood that joke, and they scaled it up brutally. Shah Jahan did not hide power in a box. He turned it into furniture that made visitors feel smaller. The Peacock Throne was not subtle, which was exactly the point. But once power sits in public, thieves get a map. Nadir Shah followed that map into Delhi in 1739, and the city learned that royal jewelry attracts very unroyal violence. By the time the palace doors opened, the curse had found its road. Nadir took the throne, but the stone needed a quieter exit. Court gossip said the Mughal emperor hid it in his turban, so Nadir asked for friendship in the language of fabric. When the cloth changed heads, empire changed pockets with it. He supposedly saw the diamond and cried, "Koh-i-Noor, Mountain of Light." That name stuck, but Nadir's luck did not travel far. His own officers killed him, and the diamond kept moving. From there it entered Afghan politics, where family was another battlefield. Ahmad Shah Durrani's line held it, then started breaking around it. One ruler lost power, another lost sight, and nobody gained peace. Shah Shuja kept the stone through fear, exile, and negotiation, but a refugee with a famous diamond is still a hostage to it. Ranjit Singh understood the hostage problem better than anyone around him. He wanted the jewel, but he wanted its story even more. In Lahore, the Koh-i-Noor finally looked almost useful because Ranjit Singh wore it inside a state he actually controlled. That is what every earlier owner got backwards. The stone did not bless weak regimes, it advertised them. Still, even useful symbols become dangerous when succession turns fragile. Ranjit Singh died, and Lahore's strongest room suddenly felt temporary. Then came court murders, child rulers, and British men taking notes. Duleep Singh inherited a throne before he could understand the trap, while his mother, Jind Kaur, became the obstacle adults needed removed. So the company did what empires do best: paperwork with soldiers nearby. The Treaty of Lahore turned surrender into a sentence for a boy. He did not lose a jewel first, he lost his mother. After that, the diamond was just the receipt. And that is why this story hurts more at the end. The company shipped the Koh-i-Noor to Queen Victoria like evidence, and the sea voyage made conquest look almost politely wrapped. In London, 10-year-old Duleep's surrender became Victoria's imperial trophy, but British crowds expected magic, and the old cut looked dull. Prince Albert wanted brilliance, so the stone met the wheel. In 1852, cutters reduced it to 105.6 carats, which means even its body was edited after the conquest. Victoria wore it, then queens after her wore the problem. Because by then, everyone could see the pattern except the winners. South Indian courts guarded it, Mughals displayed it, Persians named it, Afghans hid it, Sikhs claimed it, and the company boxed it. The child at the end is what strips away the romance. A jewel can make power visible, but it cannot make power safe. So whenever power calls a stone lucky, remember how the Koh-i-Noor was called lucky.